Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. So today we got something a little different for you guys, and that is surviving Triton with a twist, and that being Rover evolution. So let's get things started. Right, so of course this will be a new game. We'll do custom game. We're gonna do star system to make it as a basic survival series or survival save, so you want to call it. We're going to call this Surviving Triton, and we're going to leave everything else kind of the same: survival, offline. We'll change some mods in our advanced settings. I think I'm going to leave everything to default here for the most part. There's a few things I do want to change, and that is going to be enabling spectator mode for necessary things later down the line. In-game scripts on. I do want to leave progression on just to make it a little harder. I'm a little bit on the fence about the weather system. Never really liked the weather system, to be honest, but we'll leave it on for the time being. And I think that's about it. In terms of mods, I'm gonna use some basic mods, something like easy inventory as a mod. Although, of course, yes, we can use build planner and so forth. I just prefer easy inventory over build planner for the most part. And another thing would be maybe a compass, if anything, and modern and fancy HUD. So that's all I'm gonna use as a mod, just for fun of it, and that's all we need. So that's the quick settings. Again, we're leaving as default settings in advance. We could improve the inventory size, but I kind of gotten used to the inventory size in basic like this, so we can leave it as so. And we can adjust later down the line if we really need to. But for now, I think we're good here, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Alright, so we are here on the planet Triton, or moon. I think it's a moon. And we are going to work on rover evolution this time around. So, why are we doing this? Because we have ship evolution, Don's building a ship as well, so we're doing a lot of ship building. We're giving shipbuilding a lot of love, and I thought, maybe we need a rover evolution series as well to give the rover building some love, which honestly I prefer to make rovers more than ships, so that's kind of my forte in some ways, although my rover building's not the best, but I'm decent at it, as you may have seen in other series where I made a lot of different types of trucks in terms of drilling trucks and things like that. So I'm going to do rover evolution, and that is pretty much a mobile based type of build. So I'm going to evolve this basic respawn pod into a small grid rover and then move on from there. I think the idea is to keep it small grid and not go large grid, which makes it even more difficult than it should be. So that's the plan. If we need large grid items such as refineries and assemblers, we could build it on the ground for the time being and lug it later down the line if we need to. So that's how we're going to figure out how to do certain things in this series. How it's going to work out, I don't know, but I like the challenge, so I'm going to see how that kind of all turns out. But of course, first we need to definitely make the rover mobile in a sense, or this respawn pod mobile in a sense. So we need a lot of different parts here, so we can get rid of the landing gear. Oh, before we do that, we do have progression on, so we want to make the landing gear first. and we can get rid of the rest later. For now, we just need our basic stuff. So basic stuff being select your items here. We can probably look at the GPS marker for whatever this station is at, and it looks like I don't even know where it is. We got the marker, so we just gotta open it. Okay, so that is the UVX station, which is 2930 kilometers away, which is not too far. But I mean, if we really want to go the route of going there first, we could. Probably not something I would do, but yeah, I mean, we could just to get parts easier. So let's maybe do that as well. I mean, yeah, we could think about it. But the good thing about being in the planet is that, or the Triton moon, is that there's a ton of ice. I think we're on actually the ice lake portion of it. So this is all ice, although we could have just got snow for ice. So we got a bit to go in terms of making this into a rover. So first things first, in order to make this into a rover, we need a lot of different things. We definitely need some wheels, and that takes a bit of time to get because we need to make small steel tubes. So if I moved on, let's see, wheels, we probably can't make, we could make the wheels already. So that's good. And like I said before, we need small steel tubes and large steel tubes. So that's what's going to hinder us from making wheels initially. Although large steel tubes, I think we should have from, yep, we could get some from our thrusters that we're not going to use whatsoever. So that's where we get the large steel tube from. But the small steel tubes, that's the biggest problem we have. And I don't think we could make them from a survival kit, right? No, we can't produce them. So we need an assembler. So that's where the large grid assembler is going to come in handy. So I don't know how that's going to happen. We'll probably throw it on the base, on the floor, or on the planet first, or the ground first, and find a way to pick it up later. But that's how I'm thinking of grabbing some wheels for this guy. So some of the things I've done in the past in terms of turning this into a decent form of rovers, to kind of put a cockpit here up front and extend the back later down the line. So I kind of want to do the same thing, so we can kind of do that by putting the same parts. The only thing about doing this is that the landing gear here is attached to the seat and everything like that, so that's always the fun part of this aspect of it. So we take this part out and we should be good to go. Alright, so I'm going to try to match the coloring here a little bit, but we can attach on, and we can fix this up a little bit more later down the line. I'm going to have to kind of get rid of that thruster right there somehow. I think I can't fit in here for some reason. There we go. Alright, so we get rid of this to get 2 large steel tubes, so that's good. It's not too bad. And we could leave this kind of alone if we want to, but we can remove some stuff too. We don't need the parachute hatch here, so we'll remove that. We don't need the beacon, although I think we could. Can we? Nope, we can't even do anything with that. We'll take the beacon. We'll take the timer. See if we can make them. Nope. Alright, so what else do we need? Everything else, this is not attached to anything, so there's no point of that. There is a small cargo container here, but I don't think we need it as well. So we're gonna just take all this apart. So the only thing that's really connected is going to be the survival kit and the O2H2 generator right there. So there's that. Okay, so I do want to kind of close this bottom part out a bit, because we kind of do want to close it up. We don't need it kind of exposed out in the air here. So we can do it like this if we want to, although probably not the best idea. It follows along the pattern, but it leaves this part exposed. So kind of like, what's the point in that? Because now I can't even close it up. So do I leave it? You know what? I'm gonna leave it for now, and we can just kind of build around it. So I'm just gonna do this. just for the time being, just to close that up. Although we don't need it to do that whatsoever. I don't know if that's going to be exposed. It probably is. But it's okay. We'll figure that out later down the line. And let me get my setup on my grid here, or my toolbars here. So, as this is what I normally do, is keep the welder, grinder, hand drill, your regular armor blocks, then your slope blocks, and then your corner blocks. And then you have more slope blocks here, the corner ones, and then you have the light armor blocks here, or the transition bases and panels. So I usually choose between the panel or round ones. I might go with the panels for now. The round ones I rarely use for anything, so we'll just leave that as is. So that's how I get my basic first level toolbar up and running. So it's easy to get to everything. Alright, so this is what I got so far, and I can extend this out a little bit more if I wanted to, and I might. So we might extend it, and let's make it kind of cheap with all the steel plates that we have or don't have. So we're gonna extend it just a tad more right over there, and we just gotta put a block for some wheels, so we can do something like that. Why are we wasting so much steel plates for designs right now? Probably not something I should be doing, but why not? In terms of making, why not roll around looking good? Alright, so we're just gonna weld these guys up, and we'll plop on some wheels eventually, so we have space right there in the inside. This might look a little bit weird at first, but oh wells. We're just gonna see how this kind of plays out. But at least we got some kind of room in the back if we ever need to get back here for anything. I highly doubt it, but the situation now is a cockpit. What do you want in terms of a cockpit? We can use a variety of things actually. We don't need to use a cockpit. We could use cockpits, or we could use the buggy cockpits. I guess they're all called cockpits, but we can use these or seats. So if we use the cockpit, it's going to look something like this, which is, or it could make a helm. That works too. So anything around here would make it look decent. Actually, this looks pretty cool if we plug this guy on here, but we're not going to get any other things here. Do we want to plug this guy in here? This might be a fun idea to plug this one here, but it is a little higher, so we do have to rip up the top portion a bit. I am curious to say maybe we use this one, but this one requires metal grids, which we don't have. So I think for the time being we have to stick with a traditional one. So either we use a seat or we use the cockpit. Cockpit is probably better, so you're not exposed to the outdoor stuff. So we can stick this guy right here like this, and that'll look okay. It's kind of weird, but wouldn't be too bad. So if we stick one in there, should we connect one of these guys onto the porthole in the back of the cockpit? I think we should, although I'm not sure we can even make anything of it, or make it. I don't think we can make those just yet, because we're gonna need, what do we need for that? Let's see. Yeah, it looks like we need to make like a medium cargo container. Oh, we could have made this small cargo container. Yeah, let's make the small cargo container back, which is that's all we needed right there actually to make that. So it would have been this here. Hopefully I have the parts for you. Yeah, we do. And there you go. That's all that what we needed, and then we can make the tubes. I don't know how many of these we can make. I don't think we can make too many, which is the problem. So if we can make that many, then good. If not, then we have to wait. Oh no, we're good. Okay, perfect. So that can connect to the cockpit right here. I kind of want to extend this out right there, and we'll figure out kind of a design to indicate in there, or close that out in a sec. But it looks like we're good there. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna close these things out, but if we could, I don't know what I'm doing here. I guess we could do something like that. to close it out for now. Just to make it starting to look like a little bit like a turtle, but it's okay. Alright, so there we go. So we got a cockpit that we need to weld up. Looks like we're running out of power, but it's okay. And I think we just need a display and computers and so forth to get things going. One of the first things to do in terms of once we get started, of course, is to get some unknown signals, which one just dropped. Or dropping, at least. So we can always explore for the parts, because we can always use those parts, of course. And hopefully we get lucky and get what could be in there. Alright, so I got some power. This is about a kilometer away, so it's not too far. So I'm just going to fly to it. And hopefully I don't lose my placing and lose where my respawn pod is. Alright, so again, I've said it in different series once before. I love the beginning. It's quite the struggle. It makes things more interesting. And, you know, you just use your brain to get through some challenges for the most part. And it works out. So let's see this unknown signal. Hopefully it nets me something cool. Nope, badger stuff. Nothing cool about that. Alright, so we got some extra parts here. So even a parachute or the small cargo container, actually, let me fix that. The small cargo container does give us parts. And it's giving us a decent amount of interior plates and construction components, which is good. And it'll give us some more as we take it down. The battery, which we could save it or not, doesn't really matter, but it should be okay. And the best part is that this gives us small steel tubes right here, the parachute hatch. So it gives us only one, which is not much at all, but we need it. We can use anything we can get out of any resource right now. And yeah, we'll take this part down, go right back to our build. Alright, we are back here at it. So we need to make displays and computers, it looks like. So in terms of production, we have nothing to make computers and nothing to make displays. So we need to get some stone. Can we get stuff out of here? No. Do we need to have an antenna? That gives us one computer, which is not much at all. So we can leave these guys on here. Not a big deal. We're just gonna have to get some stone somehow. And I'm thinking we can get some stone right from here. So this stone should net us a decent amount, I think. It's the darker gray stone, so it should give us a lot. Yeah, 140, yep, 200. So it's not as bad as like when you're back on Earth, where when you're mining for dirt and you get like 50 or less stone, something like that. So there's that. And luckily in this challenge, I'm not saying to take away jetpacks, because that is going to be a rough series of me running around and jumping up and down and on blocks just to build something. So of course that's a good challenge. It definitely is. I would love a challenge, but in terms of recording a session, that's just a bit painful to watch sometimes. So let's try to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, I need to empty out my inventory a little bit, because I'm carrying, I think, a lot of the bigger stuff, which doesn't go into the what's it may call it here, the survival kit. But in order for me to drop stuff off, I think I need to start producing the computers and stuff like that I need as well, so we can get the cockpit going. So we need 7 more computers. We just do 10. Hopefully we have enough for that. And it looks like we do. Perfect. 7. Alright, so here we go. We got our cockpit. We can ignore the bulletproof glass for now. And before we go too crazy, I do want to fix some of the coloring here. I don't know why I want to go crazy with that. Do we leave this dark? Yeah, we can leave it dark. Okay. So now I think I can get into my cockpit, throw some stuff in the seat. Here's the bigger items that I don't need. Here's some weapons that I don't need as well. Here we go. Now we can get some stone a little bit easier. So the most important piece is getting the steel tubes. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get the steel tubes. Do I want to make a base first on the ground or not? Is the main focus. That's either a lot of stone or my inventory is very low. Inventory is pretty low, so I might increase that down the line. I'm not sure, but we'll see how that kind of turns out. All right, so we're gonna do a few more quick gathering for now, and see if we can start making some forms of wheels. We probably don't have much at all to make much wheels, but we just want to make some. All right, so from here we want to make some wheels. So how do we make wheels? We need to put our wheels in our toolbar. I like to use toolbar 4 for our wheels, so everybody does it differently, but that's my preference there. So let's see what we need. We need wheels. So off-road. I like the off-road ones, so I'm going to do the right one here, left one here. And of course we can use different sizes of them, and I'm gonna go with my 3x3s for now. 3x3 would be the better bet at this current moment. I think 1x1s are fairly useless, so there's no point in that. 3x3s are a little bit better, and 5x5s are a little too big for some aspects. So I'm gonna stick with my 3x3s. I like the 3x3s. So here we're gonna put a right one, not a left one. Here. And we'll put a left one. So I realized this is, no, it's squared away with it. We could make it a little bit on the higher side, meaning not higher side. I think we should do that. What I mean is to drop it down a little bit more. I do want to do that. Right, something like that. So I want to drop it down just a little bit more. Lower than the whole entire body. It's gonna be a little bit difficult in terms of getting this all kind of set up in a sec, but this is just a random design I have in mind. I don't think I can put a block here. I might be able to. Actually, no, I could. Okay, perfect. Here. So for whatever reason, I just kind of wanted to build it this way, and this is a little bit different from what I normally would do, but just a slightly different design. And there we go. So we can put our wheels there now. We set this as right, so we put right here, and then left will be here, which I can't put on right now because the ship is a little tilted to the left, or the rover twisted to the left a little bit. Okay, so we would just have to add some more things here in the back. But before we do that, let's see if we can even weld this up. Okay, so we could probably get something out of this. So it looks like we're missing some construction components and the small steel tubes, which I think we have here. Yep, we have 3. So far we can make 1 wheel, or at least 1 suspension. Can we make a wheel? I don't know yet. I should have checked. But it looks like we're just missing a few things here. Alright, so we got wheel number 1, or suspension number 1. We got to figure out a way to tilt this guy over a little bit. So we definitely need to get rid of this landing gear. I kind of don't want to get rid of it, but we should, and we probably have to. One way of doing... Ooh. I didn't break anything. We did a little bit. One way of doing this is by using pistons, so we can lift it up. But I don't think we could even get pistons yet because we are missing our progression here, which is going to make it hard. So we need a battery in order to get to pistons and everything like that. So that is not going to happen anytime soon because we need power cells. And we can make power cells, but I don't think we can make it now, can we? No, not yet. So that's the problem. I can't dismantle this and bring it back to life because I'm missing power cells too. So yeah, that's our problem there. So another way of doing this, a gyroscope, where we can tilt it left and right and everything like that to correct it or situate it. Or what I like to do is actually just make things heavier on one side. Usually I would use a battery, but it looks like I can't even make a battery because of progression, which we need an assembler for. So at least we know we can make an assembler. So we're just gonna grab an assembler and try to make things heavy on one side, and then we'll end up flipping it over and over and over again. Actually, an assembler is not even ideal. That's not gonna work because that is a large grid item. So maybe a survival kit. I don't know. Something big and heavy will do it. So I'm gonna flip this guy over a little to the left. Yeah, and that should do it right there. And then of course here we can go to the wheel and add a wheel. And I think we have enough to make a wheel. I think. Looks like we have 3 large steel tubes to make a wheel. That's a lot. But we have 2 here, which is good. And we have more here. So I'm going to grab this guy, this thruster, make that wheel right here. Perfect. And we can grab this one just to bounce it out and keep that metal grid and large steel tube for now. Yeah. And we can store it here too. Alright, so that's turning out okay. We definitely need to produce a lot more stuff down the line. But we also need to grab a little more stone and everything like that. So the sun's going out. Alright, so now we need to make another wheel on the other side. So we really need to get rid of this. And see if we can tilt it on the back this way. It's probably gonna be a little bit more difficult because we have that wheel there, but we can always try. So we just gotta make things as heavy as possible, and it should flip over or tilt over eventually. Yep, right there. And that's all I need, just a little bit of a tilt so I can put that wheel here. So this is the left side here, so we'll do a 3x3 left. Yep, and put that together. I don't think I have 2 small steel tubes though. I don't. I have 1. So that we're out of luck on, which is not good. But we can't grab it from the antenna actually. So let me get the rest first of things. So motors, I think that's good. Yeah, so we're missing a large steel tube and a small steel tube. So that's what we're missing in order to get that going. So 1 large steel tube is going to come from this. And we can grab from this as well. Which is perfect. And we're just missing that small steel tube. So the small steel tube, we are definitely going to have to grab it from something, or we wait for an unknown signal. It's going to come from one of these guys here, and it's going to be the antenna. So I'm gonna wait for now because we might get an unknown signal really soon. So we have to worry about that. But we got our initial wheels. It's looking a little crazy, but not too bad. And we need some wheels in the back. So we need to extend the back a little bit more too. So in order to extend the back, we ideally want to do that here. So let's see how we're gonna do that. Oh, an unknown. Whoa, that is really far away for an unknown signal. That's not good. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is try to get this flip over in the front just a tad, if we can. It's got like a little bit of a nose here. Okay, it's not even going up. And we're out of steel plates, so I'm just gonna produce a few from the stone that we have. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Alright, so now we have it elevated a bit so we can work on it. So like I did here, the length of the base is down here, so we did the base of the ship for the most part. So we can extend some wheels out from here. Yeah, we can extend it from here, and then we'll drop it down one. So we can just do this. We can do it with the light armor blocks here. Some out of steel plates. All right, here, here. Okay, and we shouldn't make the wheels too much, so we could leave it out. Do I want to add one more? Yeah, I'm gonna add one more. We'll add one more lengthwise, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna drop it with some of this light armor blocks here. So kind of the same aspect I did before, just to make it kind of the same, and we can change it up later. It's gonna evolve eventually, so should be okay. And there we go. So we have that piece there. Add that. We can weld this up in a second, and we'll put our wheels. So our left is this side, so we put left wheel here, and the right wheel here. Okay, so there we go. So one thing I need to do, it looks like that didn't drop as much as I wanted to. So let's fix this up a little bit. Okay, hopefully that worked out. And my wheels, add wheels, and hopefully added it. All right, it did. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, so we can get rid of these, save some steel plates. And now we have a somewhat of a Rover, a really weird looking one at least, but it's something. Alright, so we're gonna weld up the rest of this guy here really quickly and go to that unknown signal that's really far. We got our Rover with a really elongated back for now, and I did that only so we can support more weight of something here later down the line. So that's why it looks like that. And we can get rid of certain things here too. So we can save some steel plates by removing these corners of the design. I think it's useful to protect the O2H2 generator, but we're gonna leave it as is. We can definitely use the steel plates here. All right, there we go. So we can do the same thing on the other side, but again, if we flipped it, this would have saved the battery in the O2H2, but hopefully we don't flip it, so we shouldn't worry too much about that. And what I really want to do is add additional wheels here on the side too, because most of the weight is right here in the middle, because it has the batteries, it has the O2H2, it has pretty much everything. So we do need to make some more wheels somewhere around here. So if I can, I'll probably add it. I can't add it right here, I think. Actually, I might be able to. I think I might be able to, actually. So let me try that in a second. Let me put that away. And hopefully I have enough. Yeah, I think I have enough. Okay, I'm good. I'm gonna go for that unknown signal because we need the parts. So it's a bit of a fly, but we'll get to it soon. Alright, so we made it to unknown signal. This one looks like any other one, really. Where's the button? The button's on the other side. Here. What does it have? Rainbow gloves. Interesting. Okay, this one gives us motors. Not exactly what I wanted, but should be alright. I'm looking for that steel plate, which is probably on that's right there. Not steel plate. The small steel tube that comes in the parachute hatch. So if you were to do kind of like a series of scrapping only, no digging, like we've done before once back then, you just gotta wait for a lot of unknown signals before making wheels. So that's always an option. Not something you would probably prefer to do because you gotta wait for these things. I think it's every 15 to 20 minutes or something like that for it to spawn. And of course, if you don't have it in your options, it won't spawn. So by default, I think it does have it on, because I didn't touch anything other than in-game scripts and enable spectator mode. So there's that. All right, so we netted us a decent score here, and we got that one steel tube that we were looking for. Why did we just need that one steel tube? Because we wanted to make that other wheel fully functional, because we can then actually drive it and turn left and right. Would you be able to do that with just one? Yeah, probably, but it'll be terrible and horrible. And the steel tubes that we're going to need for the back one, that's going to have to wait. I just want to build the wheel so we can start rolling, so that we can move around and find some more materials and all that stuff. But we don't need it to be functionally welded up just yet, for the most part. It will have to eventually, but for now we don't need it to. And we just need it there so that we can start rolling this guy around instead of dragging its ass around, basically. Alright, so we could add in like the steel plates, construction components, whatever it needs. So we can always put that together so that it don't break as easily. And we'll just wait for the steel tubes when we can produce them using a assembler. But for now we can't do too much, so we're gonna add it as is. Okay. And in some ways I'm kind of thinking about going small grid advanced rotor with a large head and throw in the assembler. How heavy that's going to be and how can we carry it, I don't know if it's going to be able to carry it, but we're definitely going to try it and see how that kind of turns out. Alright, so we did say we're going to add some more wheels here. We could add it directly right here in the middle, but I think I want to add it a little bit off from the side. So maybe somewhere right around here. So we're going to get rid of these two blocks here. And that's where we're going to kind of drop it as well. Right down here. So this one's not going to be the best looking part, but we're going to do it right here, I think. Yeah. So I just got to match that part there. And we'll put the wheels there if we can. We might have to flip this guy up from the nose again. Let's see. This is the right side. Oh look, we can put it here. Okay, so here's the wheel right here. And it looks like I didn't have to get rid of everything up here. So do I put it back? Put the cornering back? I guess we can. Which block is that? This block? Wasn't a block that was being used before, but it gives it a better... I don't know. Not a fan of that look, but should be okay. I'm pretty sure it was using a different block, but I'm gonna use this one. Okay. We'll adjust that later as we go. So this is the left hand side. We'll put a left one, and we have the right one right over here. Alright, so we can weld this up as much as we can. Again, we don't have to steel tubes. That we gotta wait for. But at least we have some kind of truck-like thing going on. And we just need to add wheels here. So the best way to do that at this point is to put on some weight in the front. And should have made it a little higher, but should be okay. Okay, so that's good. We'll just do wheels there. Wheels there. I think we're good. Yep, we are good. So we can weld this up too. And once again, we can make large steel tubes, so that's a problem. And we have this thing done here. Alright, so that is our Rover for the time being. A quick thing to do. Yeah, really quick thing to do. Minimal parts here. Because we can't really make too much anyways. So that's the thing. So we have... Yeah, we have a decent amount of items so far, but we're missing a lot of stuff because we need an assembler. We definitely need that. And we're going to figure out a way to do that in a sec. But this thing is going to look... It's looking a little bit weird and decent at the same time. But as I said before, we can drive this thing now. So as you see here, we don't have a lot of grip. Well, we can change the friction a little bit here if we need to. I'll change this here. Actually, you know what? all our wheels we can change. So we do 12 strength. Power, I'm going to reduce a little bit because we don't want to go too fast. Height offsets, nothing's going to change. Oh no, this is suspension, so that works. Speed wise, we'll lower that a little bit. Friction, we can add a little more friction since we're on Triton, which is a bit of slippery, slopey area. So now we have a moving rover, as you see here. It looks like we can flip it because we didn't make it wide enough, but it should be okay. And we can stick to this ground here, or this lake if we want to travel around. It's kind of like traveling around a river, basically. So yeah, this thing is looking terrible though. It really is. It's gonna drive me a bit nuts looking at this like this, but it looks like this only because of this area here. It just looks kind of ridiculous. So what we can do, I guess we could just add some more designing to it if we wanted to. And we can just stick with this, maybe? I don't know how far we can go with this. Let's see. So for an example, we'll just stick this thing all the way up here. And we could go all the way to the wheel, so that's awesome. So this gives it a little bit more shape to it, which is good. Alright, so it's just boxing it out a little bit, and we could add, I don't know what we could add here, because this is all funky now. We'll leave it for now. And this, once again, it's all aesthetics that we don't necessarily need in the very beginning. But why not design it a little bit better since we're kind of moving around anyways. I do want to find something that's going to fit good right here. And, you know, if we can do it, I would say a spotlight, but I don't think we can. A spotlight's going to require us to make an assembler. Okay, so that's always fun. Only reason why I need something here is just to put it there so it doesn't break. So I guess we use a bit of a light armor panel, if anything. I kind of want to look for, yeah, this is the one I want. We can do that. And that's just to keep it kind of connected together. Not really doing too much with it, but it should be okay. Alright, so that gives it a little bit better of a look. That changes it so much just by adding that for whatever reasons. At least to me. And we can do the same thing throughout the back here if we wanted to. It's just a lot of steel plates that we're wasting here, but like I said, I prefer it to look somewhat decent than really just ugly in that way. So I'm gonna add this one here in the back, which is a little bit different from what we had before. And I really think I'm gonna add assembler kind of thing right up here. I just gotta figure out how we're gonna do that in a second, and I don't know if the weight is gonna be too much for this thing. It might be, so that's a risk we're gonna take in a bit. All right, so there is our rover. So we got room to expand, and yeah, it looks like we could use a little bit more wheels also, but it's looking really ugly. It is what it is. It's kind of basing off of the original Respawn pod anyway, so not the best looking thing in the world, but we can at least drive around. It's functional, which is the more important part, and we kind of need more stone. We need to make some more steel plates and all that stuff so that we can do an assembler and everything like that. So can we put a drill in front? We could possibly do that. And start drilling for mats in the front just by getting up to a mountain piece here, something like right here, and then just start drilling to get the stones that we need. We do also need to somehow attach a assembler up here, which is going to be really rough. There's many ways to do it. One way is to, yes, use an advanced rotor or hinge and to connect it with a large grid. That's one way of doing it. Is it a good way of doing it? Yeah, because it also uses the same power from the rover that way. The other option is to use magnetic plates and drop it on, but then we need to find a source to power it. So that's the problem we're gonna have. Meaning we gotta throw in a large battery or a large turbine or a solar panel or whatever, because there's no other way to power it without that there. Actually, a connector might work, but I think we need a lot of materials for a connector. I think. Let's see. Can we make a connector? Is the biggest question. Yes, we can. Okay, so the small version of it needs steel tubes. That's out of the picture. Because we can't even make the small steel tubes right now. But if we want a large grid, small steel tubes again. Okay, so that is a way of doing it, but it's going to take a while because we don't have an assembler. So how are we going to add an assembler onto this thing? Yeah, it really probably is going to be adding a, what's it call it? Adding an advanced rotor and everything like that. I do want to try it with the magnetic plates, but the problem is I can't charge it. So if I can't charge it, then we don't have any power. So how's that going to work? If I add, let's say, a turbine and then use a landing gear to connect to the ground, will the turbine work? I think it does. But I can't remember if that really works out that way or not at the moment. And if it does, that might be a way to go too. You know what? I don't even think I could make anything. Yeah, I can't even make a rotor actually. So that's the failed part of it. So let's try it. I could just throw an assembler on the ground, fix it up, and deal with it later. But why do that when we can just play around with it and see what we can do? So let's just try it this way. What if we threw a magnetic plate right down here, right? So we can add a couple of these things here. Or just two. It probably is gonna break my my ship, but we'll see what happens. Or my rover, but we'll see what happens. And I'm thinking it is going to. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt this thing, pretty bad. How do I protect it? Do we add some light armor plates here? Maybe. It's not even the height of it, but sure. We can add one more. Okay, here's our magnetic plate right there. Now, the problem that I wanted to try is using the assembler, which is a basic assembler, this large thing. And it's not very big. It's as big as the rover itself, kind of. But yes, it is kind of big. But how can I even drop this thing without breaking anything whatsoever? That is the problem that we're gonna have here. So if we were to drop it right as close as possible, I'm sure we're gonna run into some issues here. We might break stuff. I think that's the closest I can get it. And I'm trying to balance it out a little bit, and I'm having trouble. Alright, whatever. I don't think I'm gonna get it to be extremely straight, but it's gonna do. Okay. That may or may not be the closest I can get it, so I'm gonna drop it in 3, 2, 1 and see what happens. Hope nothing breaks. 3, 2, 1, drop. Oh, okay, that kind of worked. Okay, that was scary. One thing I want to do, kind of reinforce this really quick, if I can. Let's see. Perfect. Do we reinforce the sides? No, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. All right. So what I mean is to do this. Where's our magnetic plates? Let's just group these plates. I'm gonna try to undo the plates, unlock them, so it sits flatter. Magnetic lock. I think we did it. I think we did it. Okay, so that's looking decent. Let me change this out a little bit. I don't know why I'm designing at the same time. I just make it a brick and just leave it as is. But hey, it's Rover Evolution. Might as well make it look a little better. So I'm adding a little bit of things back here just to hold it kind of from falling. It's not gonna fall because it's kind of glued on with the magnetic plates. But hopefully I have enough wheels in the back to support the weight. If not, we'll just add some more weight in the back. But it should be good. So we have an assembler. This is awesome. We don't have all that much materials for it. And we don't have a way to connect it for a charge either. So that's the biggest problem we have right now. So we can make it first and then dismantle it and do the rotor situation, blah, blah, blah. But I think I'm going to stick with not doing that right this moment and try to build it out and see how that kind of works out. We definitely need a ton more materials for this thing. And it looks like a lot of steel plates. So I'm going to have to continue to drill a little bit. But first, I think I'm going to get it a little closer. There. That's good enough. And that drove pretty well. I parked it, but it's still... Don't leave me, please. Okay. I parked it, but it kept on going for whatever reason, so that scared me for a bit. And it is definitely heavy, but it drove really nicely with 2 wheels so far, so that's not too bad. And there's another unknown signal that we can get to eventually, if we need to. And get more steel tubes. And hopefully it might be something that's going to have more than one steel tube, which is only the one parachute hatch, but who knows? Who knows what's in there at the moment, and I'm not going to go ahead and run to it just yet. It's got 13 minutes, so it can wait. It's a bit far, and I want to get some stone so it can start refining it as fast as possible while we go ahead and get the unknown signal. If I had a collector, I think that would have been awesome. It would have just collected off of the ground here. Well, I gotta position it really well first for it to do that. But this is actually not a bad hole, so we can just keep drilling this hole and then having it drop close to the rover at least. So we can just pick up the stuff there. So maybe I should keep drilling this hole up a little bit, and I gotta stop holding all these heavy stuff, which is this thing here. Okay, looks like I wasn't holding much heavy stuff. I was holding a lot of stone. Okay, so this thing... Ooh. Oopsie. I double-clicked the drill by mistake and almost blew up my stuff. Alright, we'll make some steel plates there. We need construction components and computers as well. So we just can't make too many of that. We can make 60 here. Display lots of computers, and we should be good. I think we'll just add a little bit more there, and we'll just continue to drill a little bit more. As you saw there, we don't even have that much space, to be honest. So we can't even load up too much stone either. We could add another cargo container eventually, a small one for now at least. That way we can store a little bit more stuff, but it doesn't even store too much, the small one, so kind of pointless in some ways. So how much does a small one actually store? I haven't really used the small one that much. It stores 125 liters. That's absolutely crap. So really no point in doing that. Well, there is a point, but let's not do that. So we are gonna find a way to get this thing all situated, done, but we need to add some kind of power source on here, or we can't use it. So we could use a turbine, but like I said, I don't recall if we can use a turbine and a landing gear on the ground to kind of get that working. But we're definitely going to try it. So let me get the unknown signal while we get some more materials off of the survival kit, and be right back. Alright, so we are here at the unknown signal. Didn't blow up in my face, which is good. And let's see what we get. We got nothing. Great. So that sucks. Well, at least the one thing we got for sure. Oh look, we got a new drill, which is awesome. And as I was saying, the one thing for sure we got is the small steel tube. which is not much at all. Let's see how far we got with this assembler, so we can see, so we can build it up. So it looks like we're missing a ton of computers. So let's just get that going. Displays, steel plates. Do we have computers? No, we don't have the parts to make it. Alright, so we're gonna make that, and construction components we're out of. So yeah, we're out of a lot of stuff here. Alright, which suspension wants this small steel tube? Okay, I'm gonna put it in the back for now. So you could definitely have it. Okay. Wheel wise, if we have large steel tubes, we could just plop that on. Which we don't, it looks like. No, we don't. Okay. That's perfectly fine. What are we producing right now? Computers. Perfect. I guess we just didn't have enough parts for steel plates, but we have enough for computers for some reason. So that's good and bad. Alright, so I'm gonna have to do it in a weird, this way. I'm gonna slant it a little bit so we can get things kind of rolling. And we're just gonna start grabbing from the top here. And that's how we're gonna make the stone drop to the ground and get close to the rover that way. And see if it works. I've done it before with a larger mountain. And it's perfect. It's funneling out right into, or right next to the ship, or rover. I keep calling it a ship for some reason. So it's falling right next to the rover. This is perfect. So we can just easily grab a whole bunch of it really quickly. Put it into the survival kit. And get some more materials this way. So, okay, so it's running out of space already. So actually what I should have done is put in a medium cargo container right there first. And then add in the rest. I mean, I could put a medium cargo container right back here if I wanted to. Because there's space. So that's also an idea. That's why I kind of left that space there. But I don't know yet. We'll kind of decide that in a sec. But it looks like it's refining really fast too. So that's not too bad. Okay, so how far we gotten with the computer? We got pretty far with that, so that's good. Construction components, looks like we haven't gone too far with that. So I'm going to stop the production of computers for now. And we just got to wait for the construction components. 30, yeah, we don't need that much, but that's fine. We can make girders, so we can make some power. So the power source is going to be a turbine. Unfortunately, it's going to be stuck right here. Yeah, it might be here. I kind of want to move it. Let's see if we can do it this way. Can we just move it this way? It's going to be really heavy. That's the problem. I want to put it here, and let's just lift it up right here in the middle. So it's really top heavy if we do it this way. And I don't know how well it's going to be when it's top heavy like this. Let's just give it a shot and see what that's gonna be like. Before we even add more stuff to it, we gotta figure out the way to put a landing gear down. I think if I can make a small piston, that would be awesome. But I think I need an assembler to make the piston, right? And a battery. Why does it need a battery? We can always make a small battery. Like, we can't, actually. We don't have power to assembler to make the battery. So what we can do is get a landing gear. And we can place it kind of like, let's see here. We can place it right here in the front. And then we'll lower our wheels down. That's our best bet right now. So we can add this guy here. Yep, we just need construction components and all that stuff. Alright, so let's get our assembler up and running first. Right there. Alright. And we can put this landing gear up. It might actually connect to the ground already, which is going to be a little bit scary. That means we should make it a little higher and then drop our wheels when we can or need to. Okay, so it's not connected yet. So that's good. So let's stay here for a second. Let's get our wheels. And what we want to do is drop the height a little bit. And we want to drop it enough so that the landing gear in front touches the ground. And I think that kind of did it. Yeah, it did. Okay. So now is the tricky part. So we can grab what we can in terms of iron and everything like that and stick it in the assembler. Yeah, we're gonna stick it in the assembler. And then, oh, probably should have done that, but we do need to make the turbine as well. So I think I saw interior plates. I think steel plates will probably be it too. Nope, completely wrong. Motors. We need construction components. And computers. And 24 girders. Okay, so we still need to make some more stuff. Alright, we got our girders. And we have our construction components. So here's the wind turbine, and it is working. Alright. That's perfect. So that's just going to power up this assembly here and nothing else, to be honest. So if we plopped on a battery, it's going to be super heavy, so that we're not doing that. So, but this should give enough juice, I think, right? Would it? I have no idea. So what do we need? We need a steel tube, small steel tube. So maybe we can get away with getting some small steel tubes here. Let's see. So here we're going to throw in the materials and we want to produce small steel tubes. I think we need 10 of them. Oh, we have enough juice for it. This is perfect. Alright, we got 10 of these guys, which I think was one too many. There we go. I'm getting wheels. More wheels. Oh. We're missing anything here? Nope, we have there. And we're good. Alright, cool. So the only thing I didn't do was to make sure which ones were left and right. So let me just do this really quick then. Alright, so I made them incomplete and I should have left it like that before and changed the steering before. Because I just want the front wheels to steer. So that's the front wheels there. And now we just weld it back together, which again we could have done earlier before, but we didn't do it, so it is what it is. And I was hoping I could get underneath it, but I can't right now. Okay, so we got that. We got that. So that's looking good. Now we just need large steel tubes, which I think we need 3, 6, 9, and 12, right? Yep, 12. So we just gotta make 12 of these guys here. So hopefully, once again, we have enough juice to do it. And we do. And hopefully we have the materials. We do. Alright. So this is looking good. It's just a little bit on the crazy side, but hey, it's working. Once again, not really expecting it to work this well, but this is actually not too bad. And from here, if we wanted to add more design, I think we could do this. Maybe, maybe not. Is to kind of bring this out to the side. Would it work? Let's see. And it does. Right there. But can it work on this side? Nope, because that's being blocked. So that's not what I wanted. So I need to shift this guy over a little to the right. If I shift it a little to the right, it looks like it's gonna be perfect, but who knows how we're gonna do that. You know what? I should have added these things here to funnel the assembler in to begin with. That would have probably worked out a lot better. Yeah, it's alright. It's a little lopsided, but we're good for now. So we got our wheels going. We got all our wheels going now. So this is a bit of a rover now. This is actually perfect. So we don't have to rely on metal wiring to kind of move this guy around. Alright, so that's working out pretty well. So we can always dock in anytime we need to get power for the assembler. It drives okay, so that's a good thing. So what else do we need? We need a basic refinery, so that's not happening right now. I think. Well, we don't need it because we don't have any other materials that we found anyways. We could get some ice really quickly here, and that's so we can give ourselves more hydrogen and oxygen if we need it. We don't need oxygen, but this will give us hydrogen for the most part. Ooh, almost killed myself there. Alright, so we're just gonna throw some ice in here. So I got 2k of ice, that's good. We got way too much ice for what we need. And I think we're good here. So now we can always unlock ourselves, and I think I have a switch lock, so that's not what I should have it on. So I should have it as lock and unlock. So let me change that really quickly to, yeah, switch lock, that's fine. As long as it's not auto, it's perfectly fine. And then our wheels, we want to situate that back to our height offset if we can. So that landing gear is not the best placement, but it's gonna do for now. It might crash and break stuff. So we will have to move that eventually. Or now, I don't know. It should be fine. Alright, ooh. Okay. I put it in park, and that was a really, really bad idea. I forget when you put in park, this happens. Yeah. Alright, we need to balance this out somehow. Okay, so hopefully this kind of balances it out. Maybe. We'll see. Go in there. Get into my plates and... Where's the plates? The plates and unlock. Okay, that is okay. It's still a little bit lopsided, but is there a way I can fix this? Maybe a half block per se? Maybe? Alright, I'm gonna have to do this really, really quickly to lock it and unlock it. So I'm gonna unlock and unlock. I think we are good. Yeah. Okay, that's as straight as it's gonna be. Okay, I need to change some settings around and uncheck that used for parking, because that's what did it. Alright, that was scary, but we avoided that situation, and we're good. So we are, once again, very, very top heavy. So driving this thing right now with the power setup like that, not the best thing in the world. We should probably take it down or something like that, and then situate it a little bit better, or put it back up whenever we need power. But I think we're just gonna leave it as is for now, and we could put on our ore detector a little higher so we could get some. Oh, it's already high, so we can find some ore on the way. But I think this is it for today. This is a quick little rover. We got our assembler. We need to get refineries, and we gotta situate the whole power situation a lot better. So, but at least now we have more options from progression to make stuff like connectors. I think we make connectors now, right? yeah, we can make a connector now, and we can make the steel tubes. Everything you need. We can prep it, put a connector, so we can connect everything together, so we don't have to do it this way. And the power, we can do solar panels, things like that in a small grid version. So we get that power that way. So, yeah, with that said, if you enjoy this series, if you're looking forward to this series, Rover Evolution, please hit that thumbs up, like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.